In this third part of our Terraform interview preparation guide, we will be covering how to answer the following questions. 1. How do you handle failures when building infrastructure? When describing how you handle failures during infrastructure builds, be honest about the challenges that were encountered and what steps were taken to overcome them. Be sure to explain why each option was chosen, example, due to constraints of the project or available resources. 2. How do you ensure that your infrastructure is always up to date? When building infrastructure, you should always take into account the latest security patches and software updates. You should also make sure that your host machines are up to date with the latest operating system release. This way, you'll be able to avoid any possible exploits or malware attacks. 3. How do you ensure efficient use of resources when building out your infrastructure? Be sure to outline a detailed strategy for managing resources during infrastructure builds. This will include identifying which tools and processes are needed for each stage of the build process and setting realistic goals for how much CPU, memory, storage space, and network bandwidth will be needed. 4. How do you handle scaling issues when building infrastructure? When planning your infrastructure, it is important to consider how you will scale your environment should the need arise. This includes considering factors such as the number of servers that can be provisioned, the load balancer configuration, or adding more nodes to a fabric cluster. You should also have a backup plan in place if things go wrong and your infrastructure needs to be scaled down temporarily or permanently. 5. Can you provide a few examples that we can use for Sentinel policies? Enforce explicit ownership in resources. Restrict roles the cloud provider can assume. Review an audit trail for Terraform cloud operations. Forbid only certain resources, providers, or data sources. 6. How to store sensitive data in Terraform. Storing state remotely can provide better security. As of Terraform 0.9, Terraform does not persist state to the local disk when the remote state is in use, and some backends can be configured to encrypt the state data at rest. 7. Explain state file locking. State file locking provides an immutable way to ensure that a given state file is not modified by more than one process at a time. If two processes try to write to the same state file at the same time, Terraform will abort with an error message. 8. What is Terragrunt used for? Terragrunt is a thin wrapper around Terraform that provides extra tools for reducing repetition. Working with multiple Terraform modules. Managing remote state. 9. What Terraform command is formatting and rewriting the configuration in an idiomatic way? Terraform FMT.